But just before we get into what's coming up, Drew, I just want to ask you about what was an amazing 2024 for you. Elevating yourself again, main eventing so many of the biggest events, feud of the year, you won the title at WrestleMania again. Now that we're a few weeks into a new year, how do you now reflect on the calendar year you had last time out?
Yeah, some pretty amazing moments. Yeah, that's for sure. Maybe it'd be ideal if a lot of them weren't at my expense. So, WWE is all about those moments that make the fans feel. So, certainly a lot of emotions around Drew McIntyre anytime I was on the microphone or in the matches, which were generally big matches and generally with CM Punk. And yeah, me constantly getting screwed throughout the year as much as it pissed me off and whatever. A lot of people, hey, got to go through a hell of a journey and watching the show, watching the process, and watching the evolution of where I was in 2022, 2023, and where we've got to now. And, you know, relate perhaps. Some people, will just say, oh, well, he's a bad guy now. Why don't you just be friends with all the Bloodline guys? We like them now. Jay does a cool little yeet thing. He does a little hand motion, whatever. He's a good guy now. And other people say, no, screw that. That's not real life. Those guys screwed that guy, especially in Scotland. We hold a grudge pretty good. If somebody screws us over, we'll remember that for the rest of our lives. And it's awesome now that we have that environment. We can tell these deep layered stories that are similar to real life and people can relate to them more and you can see that it's working. And because of the numbers we have right now, the shows we're selling out and the fact that we're coming on a tour all across the world leading into WrestleMania.
You mentioned, real life in there, and that there certainly felt like there was a lot of that in that CM Punk feud in particular. What's it like going through a feud like that when you're in it, when so much of it does come from a sort of personal standpoint as well?
I mean, it's better than any therapy, I assume. I mean, I've never, done therapy. Maybe I should. I'm the Scottish psychopath, I guess, for a reason. Everyone's watched my journey throughout the years, seen all my ups and downs, but I've always found my form of therapy is, I sound things out in front of the world, and there is a lot of realism to it, and especially right now, it all works for what we're trying to do and pushing the story forward, and there is a lot of that um, of real feelings coming from deep inside coming out, and it feels real because it is real. And if I can, yeah, have therapeutic moments where I'm beating the hell out of somebody that's wronged me when I was younger, as the fans go on a hell of a journey with the story, and they feel like, man, this when these guys are on screen, it's different, then everybody wins.
Yeah, after you
A
had
bunch of money on therapy, which is cool.
after you had your bit of time away there before you came back at the start of the year, you came back and you said anyone who deserves to get beaten up is going to get beaten up, and it seems like that's very much the way you've come into things this year. Is it a case 2025 is a year where Drew McIntyre has a lot of scores to settle?
Yeah, I meant it. I came back to Scotland after the Hell in the Cell match. 16 staples, I believe it was, I got in my head. Maybe it was 17. A lot of staples, more than anyone ever. It upsets Finn because he had a t-shirt that said 14 staples. But I smashed the record for the staples in my head, my back injured off the steps. I lost a family member, unfortunately, my aunt passed, and I was back home, and that's where I got to spend time back in Scotland for an extended period without any shows around it, without any work around it, and a difficult time for us. And that's where I really realized, my goodness, this 18 years has just flown by. My family have sacrificed so much, and man, there's so few texts coming in right now checking on me. The fans have moved on, and they do because our show's 52 weeks a year, few shows a week with Raw, SmackDown, and NXT. Have I taken too much from my real family to give to my so-called family, who I realize will stand? Oh my God. And thankfully, I had that epiphany when I was back home, when I'm still young enough. Everyone thinks I'm in my mid 40s, whatever. I'm not 48, even though I've been around for 20 years. All the hot new young guys you're seeing on TV are all either my age or older than me. I won't name names, but you can use the Google machine. People are like, wait a minute, what age are you? You've been around since, I was a kid. We're the same age. We're both kids. I just happened to be in WWE at the time. But yeah, I realized, from now on, since I'm young enough, big enough, bad enough, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna take and I'm gonna take and I'm gonna take. And when I'm gone, people will move on. It doesn't matter if you're The Rock, Stone Cold, The Undertaker, unless you're right in front of the fan's face. They move on because it's the nature of the product. We're a fast-moving product. It's every single week. And a lot of the older guys, I wouldn't name names, but some of those big names are like, man, I wish I did this, I wish I did that. I'm not going to be that guy. I'm going to have absolutely no regrets. If you screwed me over in the past, I'm going to kick your ass. When I decide it's time to get the title, I'm going to get the title. But my priorities right now are who upset me, who one day would I say, man, I really should have kicked their ass for what they did. I'm going to kick their ass. I'm going to do what I want when I want. And the worst that can happen, I get fined, I get fired. I don't care. I'll always go out in a blaze of glory. And that's my attitude right now.
Well, that leads kindly on to asking about Roman Reigns, who you've not directly crossed paths with yet this year, but you've certainly had a lot to say about him. Do you feel that you're on a collision course, and are you the man to take him out?
Yeah. I feel like I'm the man that's going to have to take him out since everybody else, is all talk and no action. Like there's Kevin Owens, who seems to be, saying the right stuff on the right path. But then you've got a Seth Rollins who's just a hypocrite. He's always going to do what's more important to him in that moment, as opposed to, what he's saying and what's more important for the company at the time. Roman comes back, he takes a vacation, he drinks some margaritas, he gets some abs, and doesn't apologize. And everybody cheers and goes, "Oh, he's a man. He's back. He's great. He's our guy again." And yeah, he's cool. But the reality is, he's the same guy who disappeared after WrestleMania. I literally had an interview on SmackDown, which I talked to Seth about on Raw, so the world could understand my point, which is the truth. The reality is, he just did an interview where he said, "Once again, once I have my falafel back, the little necklace thing he has, the whole world's going to acknowledge me." And that was it. He's clearly the same guy. He's not changed at all. The world's screwed up right now. I don't know what to tell you. Well, I guess it's up to me. And people are like, "Oh, well, Drew, I thought you didn't care about that, stuff anymore." When it comes to the title, why you try to rally the troops? Why do you care so much about the bigger cause? Well, the problem is when I want the title, if he's back in power, then I can't get the title, specifically the one I was screwed out of at Clash of the Castle, that Cody has right now, that Roman's angling to get back. It's all part of the bigger picture. I'm the one that has to be the hero, the reluctant hero. In this case, I used to be the hero for everybody happily. Now I'm the reluctant hero who has to stop Roman, has to get the title, and as a side effect, I save everybody as usual. So Drew McIntyre always the hero, even when I freaking don't want to be.
Well, who knows what twists and turns lie ahead, but we are on the road to WrestleMania. Royal Rumble's just around the corner, and the road to WrestleMania will go through Glasgow this year on TV for the first time, one of many huge European dates. You must be buzzing to be able at that time of the year, leading up to the biggest show of the year, in front of your home crowd who were so loud for you. I'll never forget a moment you stood in the ropes at Clash in the Castle. It was crazy. How much are you looking forward to having that again on the road to WrestleMania?
I can't wait. Wait to be back home. We had our moment stolen away from us last time, which, yeah, sucked. It was up there with one of the worst moments of my career. It was one of my best moments of my career with the entrance, the match itself, like how amazing the fans were during the match, and then at the end, yeah, one of the worst moments for the rest of the world. Again, our WWE's about moments. They were like, "Oh my God, that moment when Punk was the ref," but for Scotland, it was screw you. And I was serious when I was saying you better get out of Glasgow before somebody gets you. He found one fan who was a CM Punk fan, like, "Hey, look, this guy's okay, this guy's okay." And I was like, "No, I heard what was going on after the show. I heard people were starting fights, were really upset." And I told them, "Listen, I don't care what happens to Punk, but someone's gonna, bottle him or something, and I want to be the one to do it. So get him out of Glasgow right now." So I'm the one that bloody takes him out. But now we've got a chance to have a moment leading into WrestleMania. I can't wait to get back to Glasgow. As I say, I've taken, from my family to give to my career and all this to America, but I've also taken from Scotland. Been gone so long. Scotland means so much to me. It's shaped who I am, even if my accent's funny now. I've been gone for 18 years. I still love, Scotland. I love coming home. I love my people. And yeah, that's going to be a special night. And we're going to have our moment that night. And then at WrestleMania, we're really going to have our moment.
And just one more before we let you go, Drew. Just following on from that, really. Obviously, CM Punk came out after that, after screwing you over. He had his Celtic gear on and everything like that, just to try and get under your skin even more. Will you have a bit of Glasgow, special Glasgow retro when he comes back here?
So you froze there, just the last part.
I was just saying, do you think you still owe him a bit of Glasgow retribution when he gets back here for all of that?
Yeah, I mean, I've made it clear if he gets in, my way to draw a rumble, I'm going to take him out. I'm not going to actively target him right now because the truth is, I was trying to take him out for the benefit of everybody. As a guy's a cancer, he plays the part of, a hero for the people so well. But the truth is, it's just all about himself. He doesn't care, and eventually, the truth comes out. He's a terrible person in it for himself, and it affects everybody around him. Affects the locker room, affects the company just looking throughout history, his entire career. But I was trying to do that for everyone. My attitude now is I'm not doing it for everybody. So when I get my chance, I'll do it for me. And the fact that he threw the jersey on, just to upset me, I was like, he doesn't realize what he's doing. This is the kind of stuff that's going to get him in serious physical trouble. And I want to be the one that does him in. So somebody explained to him, this is not America where you're putting on, one Chicago top team, when you're in like your Chicago top team, you're in New York or something, or wherever the rivalries are in America. 18 years, I don't know the rivalries here. I was like, it's not the same. Rangers and Celtic is not the same compared to your silly little American rivalries. We don't like each other. I mean, Rangers and Celtic's another level. Somebody smarten him up because he's a freaking moron.
Yeah, well,
He's going to
listen,
get his. When he gets on my path, he's going to get his. But I have certain goals in mind right now, and inevitably, he's going to get taken out. And the funny thing is, Seth and some guys having matches with him, he's going to break again. And then people like, who are in the ring with him are going to take credit for it. But it's what happened at Hell in the Cell. I beat the hell out of him. I succumbed to blood loss. I didn't get beaten by him. I get beaten by, not enough blood left in my body at that point. But I damaged him badly, and his body's going to collapse on him eventually. And it was me that done it. But as usual, someone else will get the credit for something I did. It's just the way things go for Drew McIntyre.
well, Drew, we'll leave it on that. Thank you very much. Can't wait to see you again over here.
All right,
Looking forward to it. Looking forward to seeing what's next.
lots,
Lots.
lots.